the east there came a hard man. Oh ho ho, all the way from Britain. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. He went into a pub and he came a paralytic. Oh ho ho, VP and cider. But a hell of a mixture. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. Does this bus go to the dinosaur parley? Oh ho ho, I'm looking for a lumber. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. There in the dancing, he met Harry Mary. Oh ho ho, the flower of the Gorbals. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. Oh no, Mary, are you dancing? Oh no, it's just the way I'm standing. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. Oh no, Mary, you're 1 in a million. Oh ho ho, and so's your chances. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. Oh now, Mary, can I run you home? Oh ho ho, I've got a pair of sand shoes. You're a hell of a funny Clover Rebel and the orange juice. In through the back close and out through the dunny. Oh ho ho, it wasn't for the first time. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. The mother came out, she was going to the cludgy. Oh ho ho, I buggered off sharpish. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. Mary, Mary, she had a little baby. Oh ho ho, the father's in the army. Glory, hallelujah. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. Now Harry and Mary is still looking for her hard man. Oh ho ho, he joined the Foreign Legion. Sahara under a camel. Clover Rebel and the orange juice. Clover Rebel and the orange juice.
Well, folks, how is all doing? What is the crack? Welcome along to another live stream Mondays here on the Rebel podcast with myself, Big Ro. My phone was going a ding dong already, so it is, so we'll get that out of the way there. Yeah, folks, we're here multi-streaming live from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. tonight on YouTube and Facebook. If you haven't liked our page yet on YouTube, why not, folks? Go ahead. If you're watching the show tonight on Facebook, just jump out for 2 seconds, go on to YouTube and just search for the Rebel podcast. You'll find our live stream. If you give the page a wee like and subscribe, like the video as well, it very, very much helps the algorithm, and more people around the world get to see the show and get to see what we're doing here on the Rebel podcast. We're also live on 2 pages on Facebook. As always, tonight we're live on the official Rebel podcast page and my own DJ Rebel Row page. Fix folks. So you're welcome along. Thanks for joining me as normal. If you're watching on Facebook, please share the stream. Very, very easy, folks. Just hit the wee share button. And if you're part of any groups, it should just pop up what groups you're part of. Hit share. And we'll get as many people watching the show tonight as possible. So let's see who you are watching the show so far. First up, as always, on YouTube, Jim McCaff. Jim, what's crack? There's the spanner himself, Marty Heaney. What's crack, Marty? Watching on YouTube and Facebook as well. Iona Graham over in Scotland. What's the crack, missus? I'm sure you're looking forward to these school holidays, are you? Already? Are you off already? Maybe? I know the kids, our ones don't finish here a Good Friday, so they don't. Jim says, Spanner, what about them tickets? Don't let Roe know. What's what are you on with the chicken? So I'll say Cliftonville there, but I won't dignify with the name. Chickenville is the name of them. Chickenville. That's all they're good for. Chickenville. Yeah, you can screw your tickets. There's a good friend, Mara McNally. Good evening, comrades. Looking forward to the show tonight. It's great to have you on, missus, and joining us. Cheers. Thanks very much. Sydney Deering, Sydney over there in America, who is off today for spring break, you call it. So she is. So she's here to watch the whole show tonight. Happy days. Jordan Whiteford tonight, watching on Facebook. Cheers, Jordan. Let's see, Kira Griffin. How are you doing, Kira? So you're going to be a granny, Mrs. Bessender. Congratulations to the two of yous. Grandparents, seen there, he posted on Facebook last week. Dan O'Cally, watching on YouTube. Cheers, mate. Let's see, Iona says, we finished on Friday the 4th. Go back on Tuesday the 22nd. Ours are off. I think they're off. They finish on Good Friday. I think they're off all weekend. But you're using it's a bit different, isn't it? The kids finish earlier for the summer over in Scotland and England, don't they? And then they'll go back a lot sooner. Because you always see on Facebook, you'll find anybody you have friends with them on Facebook or like from Scotland or something. You see them, the kids are going first day back to school and all whatever, and you're going, ours aren't back to like an hour or 2 weeks or something, so they aren't, whatever. But yeah. Well, good to see you all, missus. So folks, this is our official pre-Easter show tonight. So a lot of the songs tonight we're going to be Easter orientated, of course, of a rebel nature. So if there's any tunes you want, rebel songs around the Easter period, let us know. A few I may have missed out, so get them in any ones you know, get them in the comment section, and we will get them on this evening. And of course tonight we're going to be joined live from 8 p.m. from County Limerick by a good friend of ours, of the show, and good friend of myself, Pol Sherin from Clover Rebel Band. The lads are just back from America, so they are as well. So we'll be talking all about their trip to the States and just catching up on what the crack is with Clover. We haven't had Paul on the way. But I mean, I would sort of speak to Paul more than I would probably speak to Laura on a daily basis, but that's just the way our jobs work. I mean, it's good to be able to speak to each other all day, just basically on WhatsApp, back and forth. So it's not like I haven't spoke to him, but just haven't spoke to him in this sort of capacity. So I haven't. Let's see. Billy Carr tonight watching from Aberdeen, good man on Facebook. Maura Burns in the 33rd County Republican Cope Bridge. Hugh McKenna, what's crack, Hugo? Evening row. Kira says yes. Yes, thanks, Ro. Yeah, can't wait. Happy days. Harry T, what's the crack? Hey, let's run away with them. What? Let's just run away with the empty trophy, so them current buns can't get zero. Yeah. So, folks, yeah, the fixtures for the post split have just been announced today. So here is Celtic's fixtures here, if you haven't seen them yet. So yeah. Starting off, I suppose this here supercomputer could have let us get them in the first game of the season, but listen, the Caps weren't going to let that happen. They're not going to let us win the league officially. I know the league has been won mathematically, but they're not going to let us win it officially at Ibrox. So yeah, on Saturday the 26th at 12:30 kickoff, we're away to Dundee. So looking forward to that. I will be in Alcudia, so I will. So when that match is on, it would have been nicer to get the match against the Cream Buns, but this one will do. Hopefully we can officially win the league away to Dundee at Tannadice. And then on Sunday the 4th of May, 12 o'clock kick-off as well, away to Rangers. And then Saturday the 10th of May against Hibs, 3 o'clock kick-off. Aberdeen away then on Wednesday the 14th, 7:45 kick-off. And then last game of the season, which will be Trophy Day against St Mirren at home, when we should get the trophy. There's Saturday the 17th of May, which is very much Holy Communion season, so it is, from like the 10th of May onwards, which always happens. A lot of people, the crack, they're looking at these fixtures going, shit, there's a match on, whatever. I think, like last season, the last game we played against the Cream Buns was one of the communions, one of the main communion days here in Belfast as well, and a lot of people weren't happy at all, so they weren't. But listen, what can you do? And of course, we're just talking about so Sunday the 4th of May, I will be back at Dara's Bar for the match, so looking forward to that one. So doors open at 11 o'clock, and I'll be on for an hour before, an hour after the game against Rangers. I think Shamey is quite happy with the last time we were down there over St Paddy's weekend, so looking forward to that again. So folks, there you go. And literally before these doors open, when I was down there last time, there was a queue outside waiting to get in. So if you want to go to this match down Dars, great atmosphere, great cheap drink offers, get yourselves down. It's not a massive pub, folks, so the doors will be open, early doors, 11 o'clock. So get yourselves down there. So here we go. We're going to kick off tonight's show, the first official Easter orientated sort of related song. Go play a bit of the Wolf Tones, folks, and this is the ballad of Padraig Pearse. Haven't heard this one in a while, but good to see Marley stuck that one in, because literally that was one of the tunes. I was going to play the Foggy Dew, but sort of had forgot about the Sinead O'Connor version and with the Chieftains. I'm not play that there. That's one we always have to do, and my man likes that wee tune as well. So here we go. This is the Wolf Tones, folks, with Padraig Pearse on Live Stream Mondays.
In Dublin town in 1916, a flame of freedom did arise. A group of men with determination caught an empire by surprise. And through the streets our men were marching, they rallied with their hopes and fears. And the end of boys came marching for their leader, Padraig Pearse. The poet and the Irish rebel, a Gaelic scholar and a visionary. We gave to him no fitting tribute, when Ireland's a peace, only that can be. When Ireland's a nation united and free. On Easter morn they faced the nation from the steps of the GPO. And they read aloud the proclamation the seed of a nation had to sow. But soon the word had spread to London of an insurrection there at hand, and the deeds of Padraig Pearse, who set about to free his land. The poet and the Irish rebel, a Gaelic scholar and a visionary. We gave to him no fitting tribute, when Ireland's a peace, only that can be. When Ireland's a nation united and free. For 5 long days the battle rages, for 5 long nights the battle war. He watched as Dublin city blazes, see his men go to the floor. Now Ireland's proud of his efforts, for her cause he fought with pride. To save more life, to save our city, we'll make our peace, MacPearish cried. The poet and the Irish rebel, a Gaelic scholar and a visionary. We gave to him no fitting tribute, when Ireland's a peace, only that can be. When Ireland's a nation united and free. Kilmainham jail in 1960, they brought young Pearse from his dead cell. And they had tried him as a traitor, to shoot a man who dared rebel. He only tried to free his country of the shackles of 800 years. As dawn did break on that May morning, they shot our leader, Padraig Pearse. the poet and the Irish rebel, a Gaelic scholar and a visionary. We gave to him no fitting tribute, when Ireland's a beast, only that can be. When Ireland's a nation united and free.
There we go, folks. That is the Wolf Tones with the band of Padraig Pearse. So see, this is our pre-Easter show on the Rebel podcast, live stream Mondays on myself, Big Ro. And as the weeks go on, I'm getting lesser and lesser Big Ro as medium sort of size Ro, and I'm pretty happy with my progress so far. So yeah, folks. So a few more comments. Let's see who will have what people are saying. Don't forget, get your requests in, folks. Easter related tunes, let us know. Maura McNally says, I booked next week to go to England to visit my grandchildren, then found out they are back at school on Easter Monday. The English heathen holiday. So what's the crack? You're going to be over in England then, are you? And then obviously the kids are going to be at school. Let's see who else we'll have. There's Christopher Mahoney. How you doing, Christopher? Good evening, Ro. Cheers, mate, for tuning in tonight. Iona says, yeah, but we will deliberately lose Dundee 1 so we can win in the Scumdrome. Were you playing the Bun game? Are you talking to me there, are you? Or whatever. Paddy Erog, how you doing, Paddy? Easter time, Freedom Sons from the Barleycorn. Yes, we've got that on. Good man. Cheers for the wee shout out. Alan Chucky McPherson. Alan, what's the crack? Hello from Glasgow. Can you play Blarney Pilgrims marching down Saffel Street? Now I suppose I normally play the Gary Oak version out there once. So maybe we'll play the it's a slower version, but it's still a good version. So yeah, we'll get that on for you tonight. Marty, Mara says, yeah, Bloodstained Band as well. Yep, Norway, shout out. Marty, it'll soon be Wee Ro. Well, I don't think it'll ever be Wee Ro, because as my mum was telling me last week, says, you were literally born a massive child. I mean, so I don't think I would suit being Wee Ro, but I'm quite happy if I know what I want to lose. And it's slowly but surely it is coming off every week, so it is. So and the clothes that I have are getting to be a lot bigger on me. So I'm thinking, hopefully, maybe next season for the satellite cap, I should be able to get away with a 1XL, a little bit of luck, instead of 3XL, what I've been wearing for the last lack of years. So we'll see. Anyway, so I think that's all the caught up with the requests. Yeah, so we'll do this one next. This is from Marty, and so we're going to play the Chieftains and Sinead O'Connor with the Foggy Dew. It's all, I think it's 5 minutes, 20 seconds, this one is. So, yeah, again, God rest Sinead O'Connor, who died a few years ago. Great. Like, it's, in a way, this version of this song, it's sort of a bit tainted, because this is the one that Conor McGregor would have used in his walkout song for the UFC. And you think back to then, he was lauded, and we all literally loved him way back in the early days of Conor McGregor, and we stayed up to like probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning watching his fights, and you go, he was like the real pride of Ireland, and something to be proud of. I mean, and then you go and look at what he is now, and you'd piss on him. Like, I mean, I would say if he wasn't fair, you wouldn't piss on him. One of them ones, like, he's just a disgrace now, and it's just a shame to this country. So he is, like, but anyway. It's still a great song. So this is the Chieftains and Sinead O'Connor with the Foggy Dew.
City fair rode
Yeah, what a voice there, folks. Sinead O'Connor and the Chieftains with the Foggy Dew. Of course it is. This is our pre-Easter show, folks, so almost all of the songs tonight will be Easter orientated, Easter related, and there's so many songs we can play, and I say a lot of them I had sort of written down we'll go play, but it's great to see all these ones coming through, ones that had sort of missed out and sort of forgot about. So the last request that Maura put in there, Meet Me at the Pillar, that's going to be the next one. We're going to play the Ciara McCaffrey version that she recorded on the live album for in memory of Jerry McDonald in Derry a few years ago. He's out there buzzing through. Hopefully there's Pol Sherin there, he's going to be on. So Maura had said about Freedom Sons, yep, Dan Rebel, yep, definitely. Terry wants us to play Song of the Lark from Damien Quinn. You can pass your close down to me. I think it'd be a bit big news, so it would. And Bloodstained Bonnys as well. Yep, we'll definitely get them on. So great to have all these great requests on tonight. So folks, you know the crack. If you are watching the show on Facebook, hit the share button and we'll run your Rebel groups, Celtic groups, whatever you want. There's a good few starting to come through here, we can see now. So cheers for the shares tonight. Right, so we'll move swiftly on. Say, I want to try and get as much music in the show in the first hour before we get Paul on from 8 o'clock. So do. So because the interview will probably take up maybe half hour, 40 minutes. We'll see how it goes anyway. See how talkative Paul is tonight. Again, loads of great comments and feedback for Jerry Cunningham's interview last week. Fantastic interview. So it was. Loads of people were telling me as well about they hadn't seen that Ian McAnespy video for the music video he done, and also the last song that he picked, the original one from More Party Double, the GAA song, which was great. So it was. So anyway, right, here we go. This is Ciara McCaffrey live in Derry, folks, with that Meet Me at the Pillar.
Folks, I'd like to thank Ronan, where are you? There you are, for inviting me to feature in this wonderful CD for an even more wonderful man. I remember the last thing Jerry ever says to me, and I had the privilege of being in his very last gig, and he says to me, if it wasn't for that man there, I wouldn't get doing the things I love. So Ronan, this is for you. This is Meet Me at the Pillar. He was walking down by Island Bridge, just doing as I please. This April day was sun and warm, there was but a gentle breeze. I wandered up the old stone steps into the Phoenix Park to watch the children laugh and play in the hours before dark. I strode up to the monument and I lay down on the ground, and people started crying when they heard a battle song. I don't know what came over me. For a moment I could hear the echo of a soldier's voice kept calling in my ear. Meet me at the Pillar, son. Please meet me there at noon. I need you, brave young Irishman. There's something we must do. Meet me at the Pillar, son, for still it's not too late. It's time to sing a freedom song. Come soon, I cannot wait. I turned around to see you smile, but nobody was there. In the distance I could hear the drums, yet a stillness fills the air. I close my eyes and in my dreams soldier I could see. He said his name is Patrick Pierce and kept on calling me. Meet me at the pillar, son. Please meet me there in noon. I need you, brave young Irishman. There's something we must do. Too late. It's time to sing a freedom song. Come soon, I cannot wait. The full night I lay awake, and many times I cried. I could not answer his command, no matter how I tried. Did my best to say a silent prayer, that when they take him to his fate, you know how much I care. Meet me at the pillar, son. Please meet me there at noon. I need you, brave young Irishman. Something we must do. Meet me at the pillar, son, for still it's not too late. It's time to sing a freedom song. Come soon, I cannot wait. It's time to sing a freedom song. Cannot wait.
Yeah, what a version of that song there, folks. That is Ciara McCafferty. Of course, we had our brother, Sean McCafferty, on the show a few weeks ago, who done a fantastic interview. Obviously, we spoke a bit about Ciara. But yeah, that there version there was recorded especially for an album dedicated to Jerry MacDonald, so it'll be Ronan MacDonald's dad, who passed away a few years ago. Jerry was a legend in Derry, so he was like on the music scene, the local music scene, and so many bands and singers came together that night to record that album for him. So they did. So yeah, Ciara, fantastic singer there from Derry. Ciara Griffin, it just says yeah, my favourite song, and she sings it so beautifully. She does, all right. Maura Burns, yep, love this song. Right, I'm going to play a song here so I can get Paul on, because I think he's you can hear my phone buzzing away there. He maybe had a bit of trouble getting on here, so we'll go play the next song. So this one was requested by Paddy Arrogue, and he was looking for a bit of the Barleycorn, and this is Easter Time Freedom Sons tonight.
They were the men with the vision, the men with the cause, the men who defied their oppressors' laws, the men who traded their chains for guns. Born into slavery, they were freedom's sons. At Easter time, 1916, when flowers bloomed and leaves were green, there dawned a day when freedom's cry called on brave men, come fight or die. They were the men with the vision, the men with the cause, the men who defied their oppressors' laws, the men who traded their chains for guns. Born into slavery, they were freedom's sons. In Dublin town they fought and died, with Pierce, McDermott and McBride. Ourselves alone, their battle cry, and freedom rang through that Easter sky. They were the men with the vision, the men with the cause, the men who defied their oppressors' laws, the men who traded their chains for guns. Born into slavery, they were freedom's sons. A poet's dream had sparked that flame, a raging fire it soon became. And from that fire of destiny arose a nation proud and free. They were the men with the vision, the men with the cause, the men who defied their oppressors' laws, the men who traded their chains for guns. Born into slavery, they were freedom's sons. 6 counties are in bondage still. They died brave men, was this their will? Until we're free and oppression cease, only then brave men can sleep in peace. They were the men with the vision, the men with the cause, the men who defied their oppressors' laws, the men who traded their chains for guns. Born into slavery, they were freedom's sons. Born into slavery, they were freedom's sons.
A cold May morn was breaking over Dublin's weary town. 16 brave men have fallen to the rifles of the crown, because they loved their country and served it night and day. But before they faced the rifles, this is what those boys did say: take away the blood-stained bandage from off an Irish brow. We fought and bled for Ireland, and we will not shirk it now. We have held her in her struggle, in an answer to her call, and because we sought to free her, we are placed against the wall. Ned Daly, Euston, Culbert, MacDonagh and McBride, McDermott and the brothers Kent, with Clark and Plunkett died. McMahon and Pat and Pulley Pierce, Mohan, Mahan and Tien, and the last of all James Connolly, this message to them send: take away the blood-stained bandage from off an Irish brow. We fought and bled for Ireland, and we will not shirk it now.
held her in her struggle in answer to her call. And because we sought to free her, we are placed against the wall. Take away the blood-stained bandage from off an Irish brow. We fought and bled for Ireland, and we will not shirk it now. We upheld her in her struggle in answer to her call. And because we sought to free her, we are placed against the wall.
And there we go there, folks. That was the sound of the Wolfhound, the Wolfhound with the bloodstained bandage, folks, tonight. This is live stream Mondays on the Rebel podcast. Our special Easter show tonight, pre-Easter, of course it is, this weekend. Massive weekend for Rebel bands, Rebel singers, and everybody involved in the Rebel music scene. Definitely the biggest weekend of the year. So it is. A lot of people doing double, treble gigs every day. Probably like Good Friday, Easter Saturday onwards, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, even Easter Tuesday. So there is. So yeah, lots of stuff happening. So there is, folks. So I know there's lots and lots of gigs happening over in Belfast over the weekend. So just I had these ones up here. I'll had them on earlier on. Let's let you know a couple of ones I'm going to be doing myself. So Easter Sunday, firstly, I will be playing in the Devonish at the big Easter Rebel Fest alongside Ansparad, Gary Oak and Shebeen, the full band. So I'll be on from 3 o'clock onwards. So I will up first, and then basically introducing probably Ansparad and Gary Oak onto the stage before I head up swiftly up the road up to the Raddies for Easter Sunday night, where I'll be on stage along with the lads from County Limerick, Clover, who played last year as well and done so well. They've been asked to come back again, so they have. And then on Easter Monday, I will be playing on the Raddies as well, before and after the lads from the Hot Whiskies, Great West Belfast Rebel Band, who do a lot of stuff in the scene at the minute. They're flying, so fair play to Sean Og and the rest of them are. So yeah, but there's, and I'm promoting a lot of gigs as well, right through from Saturday through to Tuesday. So yeah, very, very busy period, folks. And don't forget this as well, if you can attend. So Sunday the 4th of May, which again, that's when Celtic plays Rangers. So from 3 o'clock onwards. I suppose this here will be after the match. But again, I suppose the organisers of this here might have knew when that match was going to be on, so they couldn't really have accounted for it, which it isn't really ideal, because they would want as many people as possible to attend the official unveiling of the Bobby Sands statue at the Memorial Garden in Twinbrook, folks. So it's going to be chaired by Danny Baker. The main speaker is going to be Pat Sheehan, and Podgy and Alan Quinn from Shebeen are going to be singing at the event. But again, I suppose now that might throw a spanner in the works. So you would think that Shebeen would probably going to be booked for that day, probably one of the biggest days of the year for them to play. So we'll see what happens there, folks. But hopefully if you as many people as possible can attend this, it will be a great day. And I know there's been lots of different events that took place all over the north and south and in Scotland as well to raise money for this statue. So fair play to everyone involved, folks. So the last tune there was the Wolfhound from with the bloodstained bandage. So it was. So we're just waiting on Paul here, trying to get himself logged in. He was having a few wee minor issues there. He did literally tell me, he says, "You send me this link here," and I am literally an idiot when it comes to technology. But hopefully he can get on. We have an hour, 15 minutes or so. Hopefully he can get it sorted out in the background. So right, next one we're going to do here for you is we're going to play the Ballad of James Connolly, and the version I'm going to play is from Callie's Men. I really love Marty Healy singing this song, and the way he sings, it's really slow. This is from their live album, Live in the Cregan. So this is the Ballad of James Connolly, folks, on live stream Mondays on the Rebel podcast with our official pre-Easter show tonight.
The shade of Kilmainham, their heads all uncovered, they knelt to the ground For inside that grim prison lay a brave Irish soldier, his life for his country about to lay down. And he went to his death like a true son of Ireland. The firing party he bravely did face, and the order rang out, present arms and fire. James Conley fell into a ready-made grave. The black flag they hoisted, the cruel deed was over. Gone was the man who loved Ireland so well. There was many a sad heart in Dublin that morning when they murdered James Conley, the Irish rebel. God's curse on you, England, you cruel-hearted bastards. Your deeds they would shame all the devils in hell. There's no flowers blooming, but the shamrock is growing on the grave of James Conley, the Irish rebel. Since the Irish rebellion and the guns of Britannia they loudly did speak, and the brave IRA stood shoulder to shoulder, and the blood from their bodies flowed down Sackville Street. In the forecourts of Dublin they cruelly bombarded the spirit of freedom. They tried hard to quell, but above all the dim came the cry no surrender, was the voice of James Conley, the Irish rebel. 'Twas the voice of James Conley, the Irish rebel.
There we go.
James Conley, thank you.
Son of Kelly's men there, folks. Big Marty Healy, Big Mert himself, with the ball of James Conley. Just love the way he sings that one. It's so slow and just snapping too mad. It's lovely, great version. So ball of James Conley there, folks, is live stream Mondays on the Rebel podcast, monthly streaming live tonight on YouTube and Facebook from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. So if you want to request, get it in the comment section, folks. Let us know where you're watching the show from tonight. And we'll share it with everybody. To Jim McCaff, hail, Kev, we go. Kev Dunn is watching, good evening. Just had a wee text there from Bruce McKernan, who said he's over in Wales at the minute, digging up a few roads, I think. They're doing something out there. He's currently over working, so he's watching the show tonight. So cheers, Bruce, for tuning in this evening, good man. Fiona Whaley watching on YouTube. Love your show. Thank you very much, Fiona. Mick Donnelly, tune indeed. Mara Burns, yeah, great song. There's Vincey McGee on. What's crack, Vincey? Cheers, mate, for tuning in tonight. Just seen there on Facebook there now that apparently Celtic have opened up toss game with Greg Taylor for someone that looked like he was out the door at the end of the season. After his display apparently against Kilmarnock, and in recent games he's definitely come in. And but then again, if Celtic are trying to sign Jeffrey Schlupp on a permanent deal, plus with Kieran Tierney coming in, it's going to be, if they do keep him on, when's he going to play? Do you know what I mean? If it's going to be, obviously Tierney is going to be the starter at left back, Schlupp you'd think would be the next in line, I mean, the debutant. Maybe he wants to keep Greg Taylor, I mean, instead, and maybe not saying Schlupp, we'll see. But I definitely think he has a future at Celtic. I'd hate to see him going to Rangers, which has been a lot of talks about. Like, I don't know, maybe he is a boyhood Rangers fan. You wouldn't know whether. But I couldn't see him wanting to sign him. Like, yep, loads of requests for this year. Blarney Pilgrims one, marching down Staffel Street. Yep, so we'll definitely get that on the next couple of songs. So we will. Right, so next one, we're going to do a bit of Lee Brockerville. Of course, Lee, who we had on the show last year, from over in Canada and Newfoundland. We're going to play a tune from his album, Songs of Irish Rebellion, Volume 1. Hopefully we'll maybe see a Volume 2 this year, but cracking album this is, and I think this is definitely my favourite song from the album, so it is. So this is another song requested by Maura, and this is the Ballad of Erin Go Bra.
I'll sing you a song of a row in the town, where the green flag went up and the crown red came down. 'Twas the neatest and sweetest thing ever you saw, when I played the best game played in Erin Go Bra. God rest Gannon Pearce and his comrades of joy, Tom Clark and McDermott, McDonough, McRoy, and here's the James Connolly who gave on hurrah, and he faced the machine guns for Erin Go Bra. Well, one of our leaders was down at Richmond for the honour of Ireland to hold and defend. He had no veteran soldiers but volunteers raw, playing sweet Mozart music for Erin Go Bra. Oh, Kent and his comrades like lions at bay, from the South Dublin Union for death and dismay. Ah, but what was the rot when the Englishmen saw all the dead khaki soldiers in Erin Go Bra? Was raving that day. He says, give me one more and I'll blow you away. But a big Mauser bullet got stuck in his jaw, and he died of lead poison in Erin Go Bra. All glory to Dublin, to the house of renown. Generation her fame won't live down, and children will tell how their forefathers saw the red blaze of freedom or Erin Go Bra.
So a song called The Dying Rebel, or My Only Son. Dedicated to all the men and women of 1969. Night was dark and the fight had ended, and the men shone down O'Connell Street. I stood alone where brave men perish, but some men have gone, they're gone to me. Only son was was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country born, and he fought for Ireland and for Ireland only, with a heart and shamrock, green, whites and gold. The first that I met was a grey-haired father, searching for his only son. Well, I said, old man, there's no use searching, for up to heaven your son is gone. And the old man cried, I'm broken hearted. The old man cried on bended knee. I knew my son, he was too kind-hearted, and I knew my son, he would never give. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country born, and he fought for Ireland and for Ireland only, with a heart and shamrock, green, whites and gold. And the last that I met was a dying rebel, kneeling low. I heard him say, God bless my home, dear Corksy, and the volunteers of the IRA. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country born, and he fought for Ireland and for Ireland only, with a heart and shamrock, green, white and gold.
And there we go, folks. That was the Dan Rebel there from Chris Carney, recorded live in Paddy Brown's pub there in Dublin a few years ago. Paul, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Mate, fantastic. I thought for a minute there you weren't going to get on. So I did. You're definitely a lot clearer than the last time you were on, so the same way. So you're definitely a tech savvy at all, mate. I have to say. I was going, Jesus, he hasn't going to go on this bloody show tonight, isn't it?
I only just managed it. I didn't think I was going to be on either.
Well, listen, we're on. That's the main thing. So, mate, thank you very much, as always, for coming on and joining us on the show tonight. So, folks, this is Pol Sherin from Clover Rebel Band. So, Paul, I know you've been on a couple of times before, but in case there's maybe anybody listening tonight who are first-time viewers or maybe not aware of the band, give us a wee bit of a rundown of, obviously, when you first started it, where you are from, and how long you've been going and stuff, whatever.
Well, the band actually started back in 2003. We spent, I suppose, the quick story. Well, I'm going to try and make it a quick story, but around that time, my brother started an apprenticeship, and on an apprenticeship, money is tight. And people had been saying to us for years, "Why don't you have a band? Why don't you play music?" So we'd only just go up and sing a song if there was a party on, or whatever. If there was a family party or whatever, we'd go up and sing. So people always said to us, "Why aren't you singing? Why don't you go out and do it?" So around the time that he did his apprenticeship, he said to me, "Well, what about it? I mean, maybe we should." So I said, "Okay, well, look, yeah, I can see why you'd want to do it. Yeah, let's have a go at it. Probably not going to be a better time." So we spent a year, pretty much seven or 8 months practicing in our shed with our friend. Our friend was on the bass with us. Literally, we had our first gig booked. We were going out as a 3-piece guitar, banjo, and bass. And our friend turned to us. I had bought the PA. Our buddy only had to buy the bass amp. He turned around to us and he said, "Look," he said, "I don't think the band is going to get off the ground. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't think we're going to get any gigs." He said, "I can't justify buying a bass amp. I'm out." So that really threw us after all our practice with a bass guitar. Yeah, so there you go. And we did go out. We went out as a 2-piece then. We'd no choice. I had to talk my brother around because he was his best friend, and it was really like he was heartbroken when he wouldn't come along with us. So eventually talked him around. We went out, played our first gig, and that was the summer of 2003, and here we are now. So it's been a long road, really, but it's always been enjoyable.
But still on the road now, like, I mean, you had a bit of a anniversary, or so what, you were on the road, 20 years then, 2 years ago? Yeah. That's a hit bit for a band that still be on and sort of not have a sort of break or whatever to be still playing that. That's still a great feat, so it is. I think I first came aware of you guys probably during COVID, wasn't it? I think I seen were you doing like a live stream on Keith's Come On the Hoops Celtic page or something?
Yeah, that's right.
I think I was watching a lot of Keith's streams because everybody was playing them, and I'm not sure it was maybe like you contacted me or I contacted you or something, it was, or asked like to see, was it, did you ask me could you get some of your music played or something, or what way did we sort of start like coming?
Yeah, probably it probably was that. Or? I mean, it probably was because I suppose everybody kind of hooked up with each other over COVID. We got, I think, asked by Keith to come on his page, and we also got asked to come on, I think, Murray's page.
The Glasgow Celtic bands.
The Glasgow, And we were delighted to be able to try and connect up with new people. And I think around that time we saw the Rebel podcast.
You see, this is for all the I've known Paul folks. This is the one gripe I have him. He cannot say Rebel podcast. It's all just the Rebel podcast, and every time I said, "Paul, like, come on, I'm not gonna answer you until you say the name of the show, right?" I don't put all this work into it.
It's one too many Rebel. It's
there's never enough Rebels. So there isn't.
So we were asked. That's when we found. That's when we met up with you. I think we did. We just said, here's maybe some of our music if you were interested in playing it. So that's where I started.
And the rest is history. So tell us a wee bit about like from your own personal perspective, right? What it's like running a band. I think obviously, see if like you're a solo artist or you're in a one piece, it's a lot easier. You're literally only booking gigs for yourself. Yourself is all you have to worry about. All the money from the gigs goes to yourself, whatever. Or well, in my case, obviously to the wife, it doesn't go to yourself. Like it doesn't. But you're only really looking after yourself. But I think coming in the band, sort of one stage you maybe had like 4 or 5 involved. You have then 4 different people's livelihoods to look after. You have 4 other 5 people's problems to look after. Sometimes you're sort of maybe like a mediator or like a sort of agony aunt. I mean, on the road trips. How is it sort of like to keep that all together? I mean, is there a lot of stress sometimes? Like,
I mean, look, I won't swear, but it's an absolute nightmare. I feel like swearing.
Listen, swear all you want, because maybe I can wrap it, as long as I'm not swearing, everybody else can't, because I'm the one that gets shared that because she's listening downstairs. I
suppose the first thing to say is, right, there's been a few people in and out over the years. There's been a lot of years, so you're not going to, I had my brother in the band for 14 years. For 2 brothers to stay together that long, that's quite good, But, there's been a few people in and out over the years. Each and every one that's been in have made, unbelievable contribution to the band. Every one of them have, But along with that, I mean, they're all realistic people. They all know I'm not telling lies here when I say everyone has got their issues. You know, we all have our issues, even including myself. Like, and to try and deal with all that and juggle all that all the time. And like, yeah, you are the last man standing when it's, you know, when you run the band. It can be tricky. It can be tough. You're everything. Sometimes you can be everything from. I mean, in this band, I've been. You know, you said it there. Agony aunt. You got to listen to everybody's, you know, issues or whatever. You know, I've been everything down to nearly almost a babysitter from time to time. Like, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy. I can see why bands, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine today. I can see why bands, you know, end in a big flash, you know, where guys just blow up and it's all over.
I was going to say, I mean, the sort of thing out there. I think, given I think these are very busy, like working bands, you're out every weekend all year round, as opposed to maybe like a band like maybe like Shebeen or Kelly's Men, who have been going for years as well now, and but I mean, making gig every week or making gig every month. I mean, so the likes of them have maybe sort of stayed like the same lineup the whole way through the bend. I mean, but I say they aren't in each other's pockets, sort of say every single weekend. I mean, and it's sort of, I think it's maybe harder to keep a band like going when you're playing sometimes 2-3 nights every single week all year round. Sort of harder to keep the same members in like the whole time. You'd say it like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've no doubt that I could probably, if I was doing a gig or 2 gigs or 3 gigs a year or 4 gigs or 5, you know, maybe whatever, you could definitely keep an original lineup that you would have had from, you know, way back. But when you're playing every single weekend, you know, that's not going to happen for different reasons. You know, people, you know, I mean, for example, you know, back in the day, my brother didn't want to travel. He wanted to stick with the same, you know, kind of square mile that we've always played up until that time, you know. But I wanted to get out. I wanted to see you know, the venues and different places, and yeah. So there's loads of different reasons why people come in and come out. But you know, it's if you're only doing a couple of gigs a year, yeah, but not when you're on the road all the time.
Just speaking of that, there, I mean, tell us a wee bit what it's like gigging as a rebel band in the south, because to be honest, it's something you don't see a lot in the north. Now there is obviously a few rebel bands, but I usually would be playing every single weekend as a band, like a full band, right? I mean, in the north, I mean, I think a lot of you just don't get that. It only seems to be maybe Easter time or internment or during the Fela. A lot of the bands would get full gigs for the whole band all weekend. Maybe the rest of the year they're playing as a 1-piece or a 2-piece. Would you find sort of, is there certain counties or such that maybe the next year your music wouldn't be welcomed, or is there some maybe bars might say, listen, would you play like Wagon Wheel or sort of like something like Galway Girl or something? I know obviously, you know, you just don't do that. I mean, do you think maybe you could lose out in some gigs or some bars because maybe some of the stuff you can play as a band just isn't really what some counties or certain bars and areas want?
Look, there's definitely bars that won't touch you if you're a rebel band, you know. But I suppose that's probably the same in the north. There's probably bars that won't touch you if you're a rebel band in the north either.
I know definitely is the case there. Yeah.
A friend of mine who lives up the north, and I don't want to give his identity away, but I had this chat with him about, you know, bands, how it's getting more and more difficult for bands. And he said to me that COVID did it. You know, COVID definitely opened up the market to the solo singer, and really kind of brought the rebel singer into the forefront. And you know, people who I would have maybe thought, you know, for years, you know, really would be band people, I've heard them say lately, you know, I'm just as content now listening to one guy and his guitar. Like when you hear people like that who, you know, you would regard as, you know, band people, it just goes to show there's a huge swing away from the band, you know. And it is getting harder and harder. But back to your question, I suppose, look, the pubs, you do have to look for the right pubs. Sometimes, but it's not. Pubs really don't say to you, look, yeah, your rebel music isn't working. You kind of have to go with the crowd. You will know from your crowd what they're requesting. And if rebel music is going completely over their heads and they're just not getting it, well, you got a decision to make then. You're either in or out of that pub, or you're going to have to adapt to that pub, you know, which isn't always ideal.
But do you have that in your sort of set list? But I mean, is there, like, I think maybe the only ever non-Rebel song I've ever heard you sing is that "This Is the Life." I think it was down in at the Shannon. You sung it,
yeah.
And obviously you've been mostly known. But means, so is there a few songs that you have to do that are like sort of non-Rebel? So I've heard you talking before, sort of saying like, look, we were starting playing this bar, and like maybe you're singing like maybe what was like even back in Espy, and people are all just talking, and there's no interest at all in even the song, and you're going yourself like, what's the point? Like, I mean, does people even know who this guy is, what the song's about, and they're just standing there as if like they're talking about the football, and there's no interest at all. Like, how hard is it to sort of stand there and sing a song like that, or maybe about another volunteer or something, and people just couldn't care less like what you're singing?
Yeah, it's a bit, you know, it's this, like, it does kind of, it hits you on lots of levels, because I mean, it's the song you're singing and about, you know, the person you're singing about. When you feel that that's getting absolutely zero respect, you know, that's a tough one. It's a tough one, because like I see it there. I have seen it before with Joe McDonald. I mean, everyone knows the story behind Joe McDonald, and everyone knows the respect that song should get. But, you know, there are bars where, you know, I just won't play it. I won't play it because I know it's just not going to get the respect it deserves. They are bars that, you know, you can sing your, you know, the Merry Plowboy and the Black and Tans. But, you know, a song like Joe McDonald, straight up and over their heads, you know, they're just not going to stop and listen to it. It's a bit soul destroying for the band as well, but it's more disrespectful, you know, and yeah, it can be a hard one to take, because every band like us want to sing Joe McDonald on a night. Sometimes you just have to, you know, you have to know your pubs, you have to know the room, you have to know what's going on. Yeah, look, do we have a set? Maybe I wouldn't say we have a set of songs that aren't Rebel songs, but look, we all love Irish folk music. We do, you know, and it's part of us as well as Irish people. Folk music is a big part of us. So there's definitely songs that we know that we could just rattle off. It surprises me sometimes when someone says to me, would you have a go at this song? And I'm thinking, no, I won't have a go at it. And then I do have a go at it when I come home from a gig or something, and I know the song, you know. So yeah, I mean, especially for going
Wagon Wheel in there, is it?
No, it's not there.
Definitely not there. Is that one of them? Sorry, folks, just don't do it. Sorry, it's not. Go to our pub if you want that one.
Not there. It's not there, and it's not. We don't plan on having it there. I think we had to sing the Galway Girl when we were in the States, and we were horrified to have to do it. But yeah, I mean, there you go. Needs must sometimes. For the States now, we had to sing. We had to have a little bit of a set around our Rebel set. Now, in fairness, in America, they really, really loved to hear the Rebel songs, but they also loved to hear the stories behind the songs. The song on its own over there is no good. You know, it doesn't hit. You have to tell the story. So.
Well, I think obviously we'll talk about their American tour later on in the interview, but obviously, but I think a lot of them bars they're maybe used to someone like Derek Warfield over there playing, where he plays a lot, and obviously, you know, Derek he'll explain every single song, what it's about. And I suppose they're used to it then. You know what I mean? So up next, sort of not want to sort of say blow me on trumpet a bit, right? But I think I have to say I'm very sort of proud to be able to sort of brought you to Belfast. So obviously, I think before you had mentioned you sort of found it very hard getting maybe gigs in North. I think it's if you aren't in the sort of click as they're called, and you just don't have the contacts. I know you had said before that we were sending a lot of these bars messages and they weren't even getting read, or they weren't getting read, they weren't getting sort of replied to. I mean, was that something you always wanted to do? I think it's now you've played it'd be your third time playing Easter, isn't it, in Belfast? Obviously coming up this weekend. Like, is it something maybe you always did want to get more? I know everybody always goes, getting to play Belfast is one of those things you want. You always, it's always on your bucket list as a Rebel band, like.
It was very high in the bucket list. It was always there in the background. You know, we were always looking to see could we get a gig in the North. You know, if you start out by saying to yourself, you know, if we could just get one gig and say that we've done it, you know, that kind of way. So that was always the aim, is to try and get the one gig up there to say we'd done it, you know. Well, now we've played there, you know, quite a few times, and now it's you just want to go back, because, you know, the people, you've got those gigs in the north where the people will jump around with their hands in the air, and you've also got those gigs where people will sit and listen and
listen to the songs,
you know.
yeah.
And they know the songs, and they respect the songs, and you know you're playing to some, you know, it's hitting home. Every song is hitting home, and that's what you want when you play music. That's what you want, you know.
So as this part of the show, folks, now when we'll sort of take a wee bit of a break and play a featured track from the artist or the guest we have on tonight. So we're going to speak a bit about this after we play the song, and then we'll come back. But this is it's an original Clover song, folks. So it is. It's never been recorded, never been released. It's a live version. So it is. It is recorded in Fulham Park in Limerick at a gig. So, folks, this is Clover with an original song called "Bloodshed in the Valley." So, we'll play the song. It's 7 minutes long. I think it's important to play the whole song because of what it's about. And then we'll come back in, Paul, and we'll talk about the song. All right.
Thank you very much, boys and girls.
Okay.
Well, we were thinking all along, what would we do to this gig to try and make it a little bit different from a gig maybe that you might see down in a bar somewhere. Tonight what we're going to do is we're going to sing 2 original Clover songs written by the band ourselves that we've never played at a gig before, so hopefully you like them. This song is a song about an ambush that took place between a place called Mitchelstown and Kildorrery, a small little crossroads called Knocknevan. 3 brigades of the Limerick IRA were there on the day. Set up an ambush in a place called Knocknevan. Who they were trying to ambush was cycling patrol of the British Army called the Green Howards. Flowers grow, overlooking a valley green. There's a monument, it's standing tall for Ireland to see, where brave men fought the black and tans, and where marks still can be seen. Their 4 men died for orange, white and green. The people, they lived in fear of the Howards reign. As on their way they raped and robbed, shot men working in the fields. They did not care for the people then, instilling fear was their aim. The Yorkshiremen to Ireland had came. How shaky he led them well, on their bicycles they were keen. Their orders were to terrorise our land peaceful and serene. But on the 1st of May they were nowhere to be seen. Plans were drawn and our men they marched down to that valley green, to rid our land of Shaky and his team. With dreams of freedom in their hearts and the rifle in their hands, on the hill of Strala our men would make their stand. And as the trap was being set, panic it filled the air. Engines rumbled through the glen, black and tans were everywhere. 6 crossly tenders on an armoured car broke the silence of the day. With 2 human shields, how did they know? Or can you ever say? On a hill overlooking a valley green. There's a monument standing tall for Ireland to see, where brave men fought black and tans, where marks still can be seen. Their 4 men died for orange, white and green. The 1st of May 1921 in Knocknevan ambush lay. 4 men stepped forward to hold the line, so their comrades might see another day. 2 hours the battle raged against all odds. 4 men fought a full platoon. Sheet gun fire, it filled the glen, nearly caught the valley in two. But as the clock ticked on, well, one by one, what a price they would have to pay. Oran, Casey, Hennessy and Star. Freedom fighters they fell, but 2 would see a cell, as wounded, not yet dead. Give us the names of your comrades, those words followed by a blow. But British torture would be in vain, for these men would not bring shame to dead comrades they knew they'd be seeing soon. Today, as you pass on your way, take the time to look across at that monument standing there. It really won't take long. And think of the lives they're lost. That was freedom's cost. And 6 counties too that still call me and you. It's really not all lost. In our land today, it's hard to see a way to stay on freedom's path. But soon we'll be united and free, and peace will fill our lands. On a hillside where wildflowers grow, overlooking a valley green, there's a monument standing tall for Ireland to see, where brave men fought black and tans, and where marks still can be seen, where 4 men died for orange, white and green. There 4 men died for orange, white and green. Thank you very much.
There we go, folks. That was Clover there for you. So that the original song there for you was called Bloodshed in the Valley. So folks, you were joined live by Pol Sherin from Clover Rebel Band. So Paul, obviously we mentioned that their song has never ever been recorded. It's never been in the studio. It's never been released. I know it's, but for yourself, and it's an ambition to actually record it. So tell us about when did you actually come up with that song? How long was it? I mean, when was that their one the Fulham Park sort of that gig? And is there any plans to actually go into the studio and record it properly with the band?
So that song, I suppose, I mean, I came across that monument back in about I suppose it was probably around, it was the early 2000s. I was just coming home a road that I wouldn't normally come home from Dublin. I was coming, and that monument's only about 15, 20 minutes from my house. Right. But it's up on a road that's, it's not traveled. It's kind of in a forestry area. And the low road would be the more used main road, which is the one I would usually use. But I drove past it at nighttime, and straight away, I mean, it's an impressive monument, and it caught my eye straight away. Then I dug into the story. What the hell happened here, and the story kind of, it really caught my attention, and it kind of kept nagging at me, and I kept reading a bit more and trying to figure it out. And then I just said, Christ, this should be a song. People should know about this,
Yeah.
So I mean, literally, that was over the course of maybe 3 or 4 years until I actually kind of started putting pen to paper. And yeah, I sat down. I'd never written a song before. There you go. And then I wrote a 7-minute long song.
But I think obviously it's 7 minutes, but it's a great sort of story. I mean, you can't. I suppose one of them ones. How do you can't make it in like a radio edit because it's too short. You need to tell the whole story. It is going to be like a 7 minute, pretty similar to Joe McDonald. Joe McDonald's like a 7-minute song. Do you know what I mean? But to tell the whole story of it, you need to have a good big long tune like. So
exactly. I mean, I must have written that song now about 5 years ago, and I stopped singing it. I didn't even look at it for 2 years after after that gig, because I just got it into my head. The song is too long. Nobody's going to want to listen to this song.
Yeah.
But then I looked at many times at trying to shorten it, and that's exactly what I said to myself. How do I shorten this story?
Can't shorten it.
I have to tell this. I have to. Yeah, exactly. I one of the comments I got from the people who kind of run the monument and look after the monument, and the historian people over there who look after the whole thing, they said to me when they heard that song, they said, you have everything in the song. There's nothing left that you could put in. Everything is there. So the only thing that that apart from the story, the thing that's there that I thought about taking out, but I said to myself, I can't take this out, was the reason. So that song has the story and it has the reason, and the reason is the last few lines of the song. One of the big things at that time that was really bugging me, I try now not to let it annoy me as much as it did once upon a time, but it's how people walk past all these great monuments we have. Every day I see it in towns. They walk past and they don't bat an eyelid, and that, maybe they do care, but in my mind at that time, I felt they didn't care. And that's why I wrote that line, so today, when you pass on your way, take the time to look across that monument there, standing there, it really won't take you long. It won't take you long. It doesn't take you long to look and just think, people died for those monuments to be there. They should be respected. But anyway, that's the story behind the song. Well, the writing of the song.
So do you just want to sort of eventually get in and do it properly in the studio? Sit down and sort of record it properly like one day, or what's the plan? Definitely. I mean, look, today I'm still as musicians, I suppose there's lots of musicians out there, not just me, but we're guilty of not singing our own songs. We should be singing our own songs, but back to what you said there a while ago about having to sing the Galway Girl or the Wagon Wheel. Imagine trying to come out with a 7-minute song that people don't know. I mean, it's a hard one. That. Yeah.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one to. Yeah, that's it. It's a hard one to bust out at a gig, but. I mean, one of my favorite songs to sing at a gig, and it gets a great reaction, is our song written by a friend of ours, Danny Goggin. It's a song called "The Boy from Mullingar," and it's now firmly in our set list. There's no night now I won't sing it. I love it. I love that song. And again, that song's never been recorded. Danny's never recorded that song. It's a crime. So definitely this year, I'm hoping that we will get into a studio. And I'll definitely be recording Bloodshed in the Valley, and I'm definitely going to record Danny's song as well because I love it, and a few more songs.
I think last week you had was that guy John Lane that stepped in with this, was it, for one of your gigs? So is he the guy that originally wrote No Criminal in Me?
Yeah, John originally wrote. Yeah, he originally researched and wrote that song. Yeah, back in the 80s. I mean, it would surprise you to talk to John to actually know how old that song actually is.
Right.
But again, that was written long before social media came in, and I guess John had kind of given up music. I mean, musicians do that, take breaks. Bands end, and they take breaks. And he had taken a break right at the time when social media came in, and I suppose it never got picked up on social media until I suppose until Miles Gaffney got the song and played around with it, and that's when the song, I suppose, then, we got hold of the song as well. And again, through you, we helped to get the song out there, but yeah, John originally wrote the song.
Yeah. So tell us a wee bit now about the current lineup of Clover. So obviously you have yourself on main vocals and guitar. Trevor is back now on the accordion box and vocals as well. And then Mike isn't the new guy that plays the bass.
Mike is. Just before I go in and tell you that, just while we're talking about John Lane, I have an ambition to write another song about another local incident, ambush that kind of took place, a massacre actually. There was a massacre here in Bruff in County Limerick, which is only again 10 minutes up the road from where I live, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I've spoke to John Lane about this. But the two of us are going to team up and we're going to put the heads together and hopefully come up with a good song out of it. So you'll see a song coming hopefully from myself and John, which is something that I would never have thought of doing, is to team up with somebody and write a song. But anyway, that's for another day. Today.
So your current lineup, so it's yourself, Trevor, and then Mike on bass. So that I've yet to see. Hopefully, we'll see him this weekend, up in Belfast. Obviously, so for years you were you played the lead instrument, the banjo, and now with Peter would have been on the sort of, yourself and Peter would have shared a lot of the vocals. He was on the guitar. So you've more or less moved on now, playing the acoustic guitar and the accordion now is your lead instrument. How have you sort of found moving from banjo and sort of maybe doing part sort of half and half of the songs, then now moving on to playing the guitar and probably say singing the majority of the songs in the band? Was that much of a transition did you end up to do for you? I mean, or was it just sort of picking up, say, jumping on a bike and sort of leaving off where you left off
Well, not really. I don't think it's not as simple as jumping on a bike. I wish it was. I mean, Peter was such a big driving force in the band, and Peter had done so much within the band. I definitely, you couldn't mention Peter and not give him, the praise he deserves for the time he spent in the band. So to move on without Peter, definitely not like jumping on a bicycle and just going for it. Like it took a lot of getting the head around it, and I suppose having to get out of the comfort zone. When I was in the banjo, it was a comfort zone I was in, and I really didn't have to think about a gig. I just stood on stage and just played. But to take on the guitar, and when I took on the guitar, I didn't know how I was going to get on with it. I just I'd never played that role in the band before. I'd often take the guitar for a song, but I'd never actually carried a full gig with the guitar. So it took a bit of work. I suppose going out to Lanzarote and doing the solo stints in Bar 67, they definitely helped me. Definitely. I mean, it was sink or swim there. You either could do it or you were going to, go down in flames. And thankfully it worked, and I really enjoyed those stints that I did out there. Yeah.
Obviously, you were talking about the solo stuff you've been doing. I think you had sort of mentioned to me as well, you were sort of go try and get some maybe midweek gigs or something. Is that something you want to do sort of long term now, not away from the band, but sort of try and get a lot more sort of the odd solo gig now and again? Meaning you go maybe leave some weekends free or something throughout the year to try and do a few solo gigs yourself, whatever?
Yeah, well,
is it something you find it more comfortable doing now, are you, since you've started playing the guitar back in the band, or?
Yeah, the solo gig is completely different to what you do in a band. It's completely different. You could sing the same set of songs, and you think to yourself, how could it be completely different? It's totally different, because you're not confined to play along with the guy standing next to you. You can sing the song at a different tempo. You can sing it slower, faster. You can do whatever you want. You're in charge. You're not playing as a group with a band. And it is quite nice in at times to just be able to maybe do something different, and it is enjoyable. The first few times I did it, I was shaky, and obviously I was nervous doing it, and like you were out of the comfort zone, like I said. But as I kind of got a few of them under my belt, I just I really, really enjoyed it. So look, there definitely is the plan to do a little bit more in the solo side. I'm not going to keep weekends open this year. I'll discuss that with the band next year. Maybe we'll see. It depends how much music the guys want to play. But I'd love to play some. But definitely, a midweek or a Monday night or something like that. I definitely will.
So tell us a wee bit about Mike then. I haven't met him yet. And he's probably the newest members came on board with us. So what's the crack? Did you know him before, or what? Or how did he end up coming on board with the band? Had he been like your gigs before, or had he filled in with us before, or what? Or how did he end up coming in with us?
Look, I know Mike probably as long as the band has kind of been going, I suppose. Right. I won't say I knew him personally, but I'd often said hello to him and had a few words with him. I mean, Mike has played with every kind of band. I've seen Mike playing with loads of different bands. I've seen him playing with ballad bands and rebel bands and folk bands, and I've seen him playing, in kind of rock bands and wedding bands. Mike is a great musician. He is a fantastic bass player. He could play, any kind of music with any band. But because I had seen Mike playing over the years with different bands, falling in and falling out with bands. He was never in a band as such. He was always just there for the night. He was covering for somebody, or that
more
was
like
always
like a session musician or something. Sort of just
exactly like exactly like a session musician. And to be honest, that's what I thought Mike was. I thought that was by design. I thought Mike that's what he wanted to do. That's the kind of musician he was. So for that reason, I had never approached Mike to talk to him about the Clover position, and I probably never would have, not through any other reason, only that I just didn't think I didn't think he wanted to have permanent music in a band. So I just advertised, and I put a link on Bassist Ireland, and one of his friends saw it and said, "Hey, there's a band here in Limerick. Do you know these guys?" And then I got a phone call from him, and I was shocked to get a phone call from him, and delighted at the same time.
Yeah, happy days. So it's he's working out well for you now. I mean, he's long as about a year or something with these now, is it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's not quite a year with us, but he's working out excellent with us, because the thing is, like, because Mike was only ever falling in and falling out of bands, like, you'd never hear him sing,
Yeah.
And I guess he'd said, that, any bands that he did, fall in with temporarily, he said, again, singing was never required. So, but he's actually is a really good singer, and he's now got we got him a couple of songs up and going with him for the States. And he sings those now in the gig, and hopefully we'll add some more songs to the list with him. And it's going really well with Mike. He's definitely a great asset, and he's a nice guy. He's very easy to get on with. He's a great laugh. It's good, all good.
Happy days. So we're going to talk now about America. So obviously you aren't long back from a 3-week or so tour over there, and obviously it was all about sort of hush, and you've been over there, and then obviously we all knew the tour was happening when you were over there. So tell us, how long was that in the planning for you? And like, so where did it take you? Whereabouts in America? And like, would you be in a hurry to go back and do it again, or?
Well, it was in the planning again, like my story in the beginning, where people had said to us for years, "Geez, you should go out and start a band." People had said to us again for years, "Have you ever done America?" And when I'd say no, they'd say, "Jesus, why not? Why haven't you done America? You'd get on great in America, So this kind of thing was there for years, people saying this to us. So again, we had spoke about it for years. We were very close to doing it right when COVID hit. But COVID hit, and then the lineup of the band changed again, and it doesn't take an awful lot to throw you off course. Yeah. So you asked me about recording. I mean, we would have hoped to have recorded by now, but again, America threw us off course. So it doesn't take a lot to throw you off course. So with one thing and another, it just never happened. Then, I mean, was this trip a long time in the planning? No, it happened really quickly. We just got a message from somebody, and they said, "Look, would you be interested maybe in a gig?" And then we were like, "Well, we can't come to play a gig."
One gig, yeah.
Yeah, even though it was St. Patrick's night, it was a good gig and a decent gig. but you just couldn't go for one gig. So that's when we started maybe knocking on some more doors, and that person that asked us as well, they gave us some help as well, and it just kind of went together really quickly. And this time it happened. Look, also the time was right, and the people on the ground, myself, Trevor and Mike, we all wanted to do it, and we felt that we worked well enough together that we could do a 3-week long tour with 3 guys living in each other's pockets. That's a test there and then to whether you're going to come back on the plane talking to each other, or even on the same plane as each other.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It went well. It went well, and it's not easy. There are days when you're in the States and something hasn't gone quite right or whatever. And I won't say you'd go to the plane, you wouldn't, but there's days just when things haven't gone your way, and at no time did the 3 of us, we were always together in everything we did, and there was never a cross word. So for those reasons alone, it was very enjoyable to play the States. The songs got great. They got great attention. Again, we got the chance to play songs like like Bloodshed in the Valley, and explain the story behind the song, and you wouldn't do it here, because you'd be people would say, you're talking too much, get on and play the music, but the American audience was totally different. They wanted to hear the story behind the song,
the history behind it.
Yeah. So for that alone, like, it would definitely be something that we would want to repeat again. So yeah, look, we haven't really kind of sat down and spoke about it yet, but I'm sure that conversation is coming, and I think we have to do it again, really, like,
See, like, logistics ways, I mean, what way does that work over there? I mean, you're obviously going over with your instruments, but see all the rest of the gigs, I mean, are you going, and there's all the gear supplied there for you as you go in? Is there a PA setup, or did you have to maybe hire one for the weeks while you were there and bring it around with you, or what way did that there work out like?
So we were very lucky that the person who originally contacted us, one of their best friends was a sound engineer. And he had multiple PAs, and he was more than willing to help us. That's the other thing that we found as well. Like, that in America, everybody wanted to help you in some way. Whether it was a bed for the night, or like the guy, look, just take whatever you need. Take the PA. Take whatever speakers you want, take whatever you want, just take it and just drop it back to me. That's all I want you to do, take it. And, so yeah, that was it. I mean, it was easy in that respect. We just went, picked out what gear we needed, loaded it up, and went away and played our gigs. I mean, some of the gigs we played, like Connolly's in New York, I mean, in Times Square, I mean, you had us on the Friday night, you had the Whistling Donkeys on the Saturday night, the Druids, I think, were there on the Sunday night. I mean, it was mad to see your name here amongst these bands.
Well,
but that pub, all we needed to do was walk in with the guitar. There was a sound engineer set, ready to go. All the gear was there. So it was like that in a couple of bars, so.
You used to on a gig with Derek over there as well, didn't you? When was that there? Or?
Yeah. That was a few days before St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, wow, Derek Warfield is some setup, he really is. I mean, himself, you could talk about Derek Warfield for the night on his own, but like, the band he has around him, I was just there watching them do their sound check, and, watching the Maris, the banjo player there, go through all the settings and set everybody up, and Jesus, the sound check was phenomenal, like, so
alone, just listen to the sound
alone. Check, yeah. They're just a cracking band.
Yeah, well, obviously we had him on the last couple of times, and he did say, "Listen, look, I bring in people that are like the sort of the creme de la creme of what they do. I mean, a lot of them would be like sort of session musicians, apart from maybe Damaris, and then obviously Eddie's there as well now, more or less full time with him. But he'd bring people in. They're just that are proper musicians, like and." They'll always get a good show with them, like.
Oh yeah, their level of musicianship is it's something to see. But as I said though, outside of the musician side of things, their sound is so good. I mean, the Maris is an expert in setting up sound. She really is. Their sound is phenomenal. I mean, Eddie, you can't really say anything about Eddie. Eddie is just an absolutely top of the line musician and singer.
For being so young as well, like, I mean, he, for what he's, I suppose the opportunity he's been given, like, with Emmons, like, he's probably had to grow up a lot, so he has. I mean, because probably from going doing the odd gig with Paddy over here or whatever, and then more or less saying, right, Eddie, you're coming with us and you're gonna be gigging like all year round, but you could be in America for 3 months and then we're back to Ireland. That's a big thing to put on someone so young to do, like. So
well, he's a lovely guy. He's a lovely guy, Eddie. And when you talk to Eddie, you do kind of forget how young he is, because he's got a real, he's got a real solid old head on young shoulders kind of thing. Like, you don't think he's as young as he actually is when you talk to him. But I suppose, like you said, look, he was given a big responsibility. He was given a big opportunity. He took it with both hands, and I suppose he had to grow up then and there, and he was the man. Yeah. He was the man to do it. Like, yeah. So more luck to him. He's a great guy and lovely fella.
I have to give your wife Sarah a shout out, because I think see when you told us you were going to America, like, and obviously I know like, you have like, a wee young baby in the house, like, and I was like, you have a lot more understanding than Laura, because she even told me, she says, get the fucking heck, you're pissing off to America for 3 weeks, leaving me here with all these kids. I'm just told it's not happening, like. So, yeah. Like, is that so? Fair play there. Like, was it? Did that conversation happen? Did it, or was she all, "Oh, Paul, go ahead"? Like, I'm happy and pleased for you, like.
Can I just say yes and move on?
Aye,
I mean, no, we've got a 3-year-old, and we've got a baby who's under a year. 7-8 months old. I should know, about 8 months old, and plus we've got an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old. So that's a lot of work for Sarah, and yeah, for me just to toddle off to the States for 3 weeks. Yeah, it's a big ask. But yeah, there was a conversation, all right. But look, I guess Sarah knows. Look, I have a bucket list still. I mean, there are still things I want to do, and I've done a lot. Thankfully, there isn't an awful lot on the list, but there are still things there, and definitely the States was one of them. And I think she knew once I said it, that it was the time, and in fairness, she really didn't kick back on it. Like, she just said, look, you need to get it done. I'll make this side of things work. You go and do it. And she did. And full credit to her. She's a patient woman.
I'm sure. So obviously we're coming up the Easter weekend this weekend. And as I mentioned earlier on, definitely on the Rebel music scene, it's the biggest weekend of the year. If you're a Rebel band, a Rebel singer, and obviously everybody, it's great to see so many gigs taking place all over the place. So what do you got planned? Have you got a full gig listing right through the whole weekend, or what are you for doing?
So we've the 3 gigs over the weekend, and with travelling to Belfast, I mean, we wouldn't really want to do any more than the 3 gigs, but they're 3 good gigs. We've got one in Carrigan-Shore in a bar called O'Connor's Live. Carrigan-Shore has a great Republican history. They're very Republican in Carrigan-Shore, so it's always great to play down there. But Easter is extra. It's the time to play there, really, if you want to play it anywhere.
They actually used to have a really good flute band as well. Carrigan-Shore, it's a shame to see it. Remember all our years going to Bonestown every year and stuff, and they were one of the bands that went every single year, and they always brought a massive big flute band with them. I think they're not going now, but they always did have a really strong band up there, so they did. Like.
They did, and that band, when we first started playing down there, that band was still going, and we'd speak to some of the younger musicians in the band and like ask them how did you get into this, and they were like, well, we had no choice. It was handed to us. Our fathers were in the band before us, and then it was handed to us. And it's a shame that band is gone. They were really good. But it has that history down there. It has that heritage down there in that part of Tipperary, and all of Tipperary, but that part especially. Then on Saturday night, we said, look, we'll stay local. We've got a big drive on Sunday to Belfast. A guy we know opened a pub there during the year, and he wanted to set up a kind of a Rebel weekend for Easter, and we said we'd do it for him and try and get him to build up a weekend there. And then, of course, the Roddy McCorley gig, which when was offered, it's a gig you wouldn't want to say no to that gig. So, yeah, we're delighted to be going back to Belfast.
Happy days. So, see, before we let you go, is there anything else maybe coming up throughout the year you want to talk about? Is there any sort of bigger gigs you're doing, or is there any new venues you're playing this year you're looking forward to playing you haven't done before?
Or I suppose there's a place we're playing in. Don't ask me the name of the pub now, and I should know, but it's in Offaly. We've never really played in Offaly before. But we're looking forward to it. I mean, every time we get a gig in a county that we've never played before, that's exciting for us, because it's another county we can tick off that 32 county list. And
yep.
We were also playing a gig in Portlaoise soon enough. The pub is called the Sally Gardens in Portlaoise. Again, we've never played in County Laois. So, have we? I think actually we have, but we've never played in Portlaoise. So that was a town that we wanted to play in. Yeah, I mean, there's we want to record this year. Big gigs, I suppose. Your gig at Easter time now. That's our big gig, really, probably for the year. But yeah, look, there's definitely things happening during the year we're really looking forward to. Recording is probably the next big thing that we want to do, because we have songs we have been on the back burner for. Look, we discussed it there earlier. They've been on the back burner now for too long, and also with the new sound with Mike and Trevor, we want to put out some new stuff with the three of us.
I think see, when you're talking about recording there, see when you obviously just when you recorded the PD album, your live album, I think it was sort of maybe just a wee bit too late, because obviously you sort of put that out on CD before you put it on the Spotify and stuff, and I think if it was maybe 2 years before, the CDs probably would have flew it. But I mean, I think with this one here, as the years went on, it's just people just don't have CD players anymore. They don't, even modern cars don't have CD players anymore. Literally now, everybody gets their music from streaming platforms. So I think obviously what you're doing now is like anytime talking to anybody, a guest or a singer, you're having to outlay the whole cost of going into the studio or whatever, and you can't recoup that money back, obviously, because you're now it's more or less going straight on the Spotify or Apple Tunes, whatever, just to get your music out. So it is like you've no chance of basically like selling or sort of recouping any of that money for the studio, which is a shame now. Like,
no, you don't recoup. You record music, you're going to lose straight away. I mean, if you're not a band who's going to be out in the charts and played in the radios and stuff like that, which rebel bands aren't. That's it. There was years ago, every band had that kind of sure, we'll make it back on the sale of the CDs. Now you won't do that. So now the minute you go into, and studios are not cheap. And the minute you go into a studio now, you're losing money straight away. But I suppose you're there to record. It's like a snapshot in history. That's what you sounded like on that particular day, and that's what a band wants to do: put out music. But the payoff, really. I mean, okay, the financial side is one part of the payoff, but the main payoff is that people will like it and listen to it and share it, and that's hard to get people to do. It's hard to get people to buy into a band or a singer or whatever. And some people are really lucky, and obviously they're talented, but they're also lucky, in some ways. And you really are hoping to get all of that. You need the luck. You need you need to put out a good product. You need to put out a good CD, and just hope for the best then with it. So not easy, but.
Right, so listen, Paul, looking forward to seeing you in Belfast this weekend. So. This part of the show, we always get the guest to pick a song. Could be, obviously, if they're one of their own songs or from somebody else, but there's usually a story behind it. So what's the song you want us to finish off the interview with tonight?
Yeah, so look, it's only today you told me that you were going to do that bit of a chat about my song, the Bloodshed in the Valley song, and I hadn't. You'd already asked me to pick a song before that, and the two things kind of, they're basically the same thing. And the song I picked was written by Dreams of Freedom by Great Kerry Band, by Richie O'Brien and Adrian McCarron. They both co-wrote the song. And the reason why I picked that song is because, again, it's a brilliant original song that, there was blood, sweat and tears put into that song. And, that song, I suppose, a bit like my own song and other people's songs, original songs, those songs really deserve a play. It'd be very easy for me to pick something that's really, really well known and say, oh, I love the song. But, these songs that are original songs really, really deserve to be heard. And just to hope maybe that one more person tonight might catch on to that song and say, oh, you know what, I really like that. I'm going to play it. I'm going to share it. I'm going to put it on my, my Spotify playlist or whatever, and help bring out another great Rebel song. Because, we need every song that we can get.
Definitely. So, Paul, listen, thanks very much for coming on tonight. You got on eventually, even though you're not the most tech savvy of person, but you got there. So, thanks very much, mate. It's been a great chat. So it has all 55 minutes of it, I have to say. Just sort of rambled on there, but cheers. So, listen, we'll see you at the weekend, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the rallies on Sunday.
I do like the sound of my own voice, Rosie. Yeah. Apologies.
Not a problem.
Listen, thanks for having me on. Thanks to all your listeners out there, and anyone at the weekend that I'm going to see in West Belfast, come on up to us and say hello to us, and we're really looking forward to it. So slán a while.
Mate. Cheers. Talk along. See you at the weekend. So that was Pol Sherin there, folks, of Clover Rebel Band. Great to have Paul on, as always, on the show. It's always say that's probably one of the longest interviews had on for a while, but I think more when you speak to people you know really well, it starts flowing and you maybe put stuff in that wasn't originally planned in the interview, you start talking, but no, it was a great interview, so it was. So now we'll play this song and then maybe one more, because obviously we're pushing time, but listen, we're going to play one more Easter song after this. So this is original song written by Richie O'Brien from Dreams of Freedom. Brilliant song that he wrote for the 40th anniversary of the hunger strikes, and this is a song called Ireland's Martyrs of 81.
To break us they tried, but took us for fools. No brave volunteer would follow their rules. We fought till the end, our belief was so strong. We want a free Ireland where the Brits don't belong. 40 years have passed now since those brave young men stood up for their rights, the heroic Allen 10. Not even the cruelty they endured through that living hell could deter them from their cause in that H-block cell. Bobby Sands from Belfast, a rebel to the core. Your name we will remember and cherish forevermore. Francis Hughes of Balahi, fearless against the crown. With your fight for Irish freedom, you never left us down. Those brave young men of 81, honoured to be free. Ireland's gallant soldiers gone down in history. A gallant Ray McCreesh from South Armagh came he. As clever a soldier there was to evade the enemy. Patsy O'Hara, brave and bold, from the heart of Free Derry town. Known for his resilience, they failed to break him down. Joe MacDonald from the Falls Road, a brave soldier was he. standing by his comrade, showing faith and loyalty. Martin Harrison was a member of the East Tyrone Brigade, courageous till the end, his defiance never swayed. Those brave young men of 81 hungered to be free. Ireland's gallant soldiers come down in history. Kevin Lynch of Dungiven, from a sporting family, to gain political status, their demands were priority. Kieran Doherty from Belfast, fighting for the prisoners' cause, with courage and with bravery to suppress cruel England's laws. Balahi's Thomas McElwee was the youngest of the 10. His unwavering determination will we ever see again. Mikey Devine from Freederry, the last man to die, a rebel proud and true, and nobody can deny. Those brave young men of 81 honored to be free. Ireland's gallant soldiers come down in history. Thatcher tried to quench the flame for our rights to be free, but British justice is all it was, now all the world can see. Prisoners of war is what we were, and that's no shame to say. We fought for our rights and integrity, and that's our legacy today. Those brave young men of 81 hungered to be free. Ireland's gallant soldiers come down in history. Those brave young men of 81 hungered to be free. Ireland's gallant soldiers come down in history.
And that there was Dreams of Freedom there, folks, with Ireland's Martyrs of 81, the original track written by Richie O'Brien and the band, that was recorded especially for the 40th anniversary of the hunger strikes. So that was Paul's song choice there. So it was, yep, cheers again to Pol Sherin. He did say, I like to hear my own voice, but I say it's, folks, once you interview someone or talk to somebody you know really well, the interview was a lot easier and you can talk away, so it was good. So I'm not going to apologise for it being so long. I'm going to say the second half of the show always is, for doing the interviews, and that's what it's about, you know what I mean? So if any are sort of thinking, should we play more music? The first hour always is about the music, and the second hour of the show is about the interviews, do you know what I mean? So Iona there just says, brilliant interview with Paul, looking forward to seeing the lads on Sunday. Get Clover Rebel Band over to Glasgow. See, partly the thing is there, Iona, I would love to be getting Clover over to Glasgow again, and there's been talks about making over with them, doing another thing like we've done before, but it's basically you can't just go over to play one gig, do you know what I mean? There's the whole costs involved of getting the ferry over and stuff, whatever, and then it's getting them probably maybe 3, 4, sometimes maybe 5 gigs you need to pay for the weekend, do you know what I mean? And basically the bars, it's hard to get bars to pay for like a full 3-piece, 4-piece band. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of them just don't want to commit to paying it, which is very understandable. So it's in theory it's saying, yeah, great, get the lads over, but it's a whole issue of it's a costly thing to get them to come over. Do you know what I mean? And that's like a bit of a stumbling block you get. Dan says, so how can I get tickets for Clover at the rallies and come over the weekend, so it would be good to get the Clover? Happy days, Dan. Well, listen, there is no tickets. It's £10 admission, so you can just pay in at the door on Easter Sunday night. So the doors open at 7 o'clock, okay? I'm going to be on up first, playing before the band. The band should be on about 9ish, maybe 9, half 9, and then I'll be on for another hour and a half or so once the band is finished at the end of the night. It's the same with on Easter Monday as well, the Hot Whiskies. I'll be on first. Then the band will be on at 9:30. I'll be on for an hour and a half afterwards once we finish. So both nights, it's £10 admission, and you can just pay in at the door. Maura Burns, great interview, thank you very much. Jim McCaff, yep, brilliant interview. Derek Delaney, great interview. And yeah, Derek just sent us a wee picture there, and it was great to see Derek and Valerie tuning into the show tonight, two avid listeners of our Sunday show. So it's great to see them watching the show tonight. They are there down in Dublin. Derek, of course, with his he loves the merch. He does. He bought a lot of mine over the years. So again, cheers for that there. So yeah, it's great to see us on watching the show tonight, the two of us. So thank you very much as always for tuning in, folks. Let's see who else. Terry says, yeah, no need to apologise. Great show. Thank you very much. Sydney, yeah, the interviews are important, which it is indeed, definitely. Irish Nelly says, yeah, Paul, one of them who is a good storyteller. Just look at the song he picked for you to play at the end of the show. Definitely, that's what I mean. Mick Donnelly, brilliant interview, real great music tonight. Well done, thank you very much, mate. Jim McDonough says, yeah, this song is giving me goosebumps. It's amazing. Well, thank you very much, folks. Donald Kelly and a few other ones as well asked them to play Foggy Dew. We did play Foggy Dew earlier on, the Chieftains and Sinead O'Connor version, if you weren't listening in the first part of the show. So say, if you haven't listened to the whole show, just go back to YouTube, folks. As soon as this here finishes, the whole show will be there to listen back to. So I say, I would always advise people to listen to it on YouTube, because if you go back and listen to it on or watch it on Facebook, a lot of the songs are muted, which is shit, and sometimes you don't know that they've been muted, and you're going, oh, have I lost signal or something? And it's just Facebook or being dickheads like and muting the songs. Paul there from the Potty Boys, great interview, man. Cheers, Paul, as always. Good to have you on watching the show tonight, mate. Yeah, so Kiva as well, just saying about Foggy Dew. So we did play it at the start of the show. Marty, yeah, great to see the dubs on, indeed. Andrew Smith, another great interview, happy days. Right, so we're going to play one more song, folks. We're going to finish up with the Blarney Pilgrims and James Connolly's Irish Citizen Army marching down Sackville Street, as some people call it Irish Citizen Army, some people call it marching down Sackville Street. And again, folks, if any are watching the show tonight and you're feeling a bit flush and have a few coins in the bank and want to donate to the show, please do. It'd be much, much appreciated. Dawn Dance, I said, yeah, I listened back in a bit, missed some of tonight, was out with the dog. Not a problem, mate. Mike Donlan, good listening to you from the Pocono. Honestly, great listening to you from the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. I probably look like a bit of an idiot now, so I do. But I'm probably pronouncing that all wrong, but listen, Mick, thank you very much for tuning in this evening, wherever you are listening from. So, folks, yeah, if you can donate towards the show, much appreciated. I'll put the wee link up again during this last song. So, this is our last song, and folks, again, have a good Easter. What you're all getting up to. Hopefully, see a few years over the weekend at some of the gigs. So here we go, and this is the James Connolly Irish Citizen Army marching down Sackville Street from the Blarney Pilgrims, folks. So again, I will be back in 2 weeks' time. So say next week I'll be DJing, so the show won't be on, and the following week we will be over in Alcudia. So sunning ourselves, hopefully. There'll be sun, not like Lanzarote and Gran Canaria at the minute where it's pissing down, which isn't great. Hopefully we will have a bit of sun in Alcudia where we're there in 2 weeks' time. So folks, see us in 2 weeks. Thank you very much, and have a good Easter, whatever you're getting up to. Cheers.
This being a reading of the last statement of James Connolly, I quote, "To the Field General Court Martial held at Dublin Castle, May 9th, 1916. We went out to break the connection between this country and the British Empire and to establish an Irish Republic We believe the call we then issued to the people of Ireland was a nobler call and a holier cause than any call issued to them during that World War or having any connection with the war. We succeeded in proving that Irish men are ready to die, endeavouring to win for Ireland those national rights which the British government has been asking them to die to win for Belgium. As long as that remains the case, the cause of Irish freedom is safe. Believing that the British government has no right in Ireland, never had any right in Ireland, and never can have any right in Ireland. The presence in any one generation of even a respectable minority willing to die to affirm that truth makes that government forever a usurpation and a crime against human progress. I personally thank God that I have lived to see the day when thousands of Irish men and boys and hundreds of Irish women and girls were ready to affirm and to attest to that truth with their lives if need be. Signed this day, 9 May 1916. James Connolly, Commandant General, Dublin Division, Army of the Irish Republic, IRA.
Marching down Sackville Street with the starry ploughing high, here comes the citizen army with their fist raised to the sky. Leading them is a mighty man with a mad rage in his eye. My name is James Conley, I didn't come here to die, but to fight for the rights of the working class, this small farmer too, to protect the proletariat from the bosses and the screws. So hold on to your rifles, boys, don't give up the dream. A republic for the working class, economic liberty. The chant goes up, all citizens, this system is a curse. An English boss is a bastard, an Irish one even worse. They'll never lock us out again, and here's the reason why. My name is James Conley, I didn't come here to die, but to fight for the rights of the working class, this small farmer too, to protect the proletariat from the bosses and the screws. So hold on to your rifles, boys, don't give up the dream. A republic for the working class, economic liberty. Goodbye. Up steps our citizen leader, and he rose up to the sky. My name is James Conley, I didn't come here to die, but to fight for the rights of the working class, this small farmer too, to protect the proletariat from the bosses and the screws. So hold on to your rifles, boys, don't give up the dream. A republic for the working class, economic liberty. We brought them to a standstill as the flames lit up the sky, till the bullet pierced our leader and we gave up the fight. They shot him sharpest cry. My name is James Connolly. I didn't come here to die, but to fight for the rights of the working class, the small farmer too, to protect the proletariat from the bosses and the squeers. So hold on to your rifles, boys, don't give up the dream. A republic for the working class, economic. Let